All righty. Dan Orlovsky of the Mothership. You can see him on NFL Live every weekday at 4 Eastern, and former NFL, and of course, a legend at the University of Connecticut, where he lied about his 40-yard dash time when he was in high school, and he ran like a 38-yard, 40-yard dash and had a better time. But I love the ingenuity here. Let's make way for Dan Orlovsky. Hi, buddy.
How you doing?
I like to call him the standing O. Yeah, just sit down.
I'm never gonna like let some of the things of my past go, huh?
That's great,
that story,
though.
the end zone.
No, that one's great. I don't like bringing up the end zone because that's easy to make fun of.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you want to retell that story, you can, Dan.
This is the 40 story? The 40-yard dash story?
No, the end zone one. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay. I thought you were serious. I was like, here we go.
No, because the 40-yard dash showed ingenuity.
I had no other choice. I realized I was such an unathletic person that if I wanted to go to college, I was going to have to, because that was back in the day, if you didn't cross a barrier in the 40-yarder, they were like just going to push you aside. And so I knew that if I didn't get the 40-yard number, at least in their eye, to the bare minimum, that I wasn't going to go to at least the college that I certainly like wanted to, or the level. So I just kicked the cone forward and went from there. And somehow I stumbled into college football.
And what was your time?
When I ran the 40 that day, it was 4.8. Realistically, it was like 5.8. I was telling Marcus. So Marcus Spears, we were yesterday. Just I don't know what the story was, the genesis of it. We were talking about, it was me, Marcus, Ryan Clark, Kelsey were sitting there, and we were talking about just how being on the field for the Pro Bowl, everybody's like 6'4", 210 plus, and a freakazoid athlete. And we were telling the stories back in the day of Walter Camp. Obviously, you know, the Walter Camp All-American team. There's an All-American team, and then Walter Camp, since it originated in Connecticut, always picks a player of the year from Connecticut. And so Marcus and I came out of school the same year. So Marcus is telling the story of, man, I'm in Connecticut, and I'm at this Walter Camp Award, and I'm there with like me, Larry Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald, all these stars back in the day. And he's like, I watched this dude walk in, and I go to Larry Johnson. I'm like, who is that? And Larry Johnson's like, I don't know. And someone leans over, he's like, that's Dan Orlovsky. And Larry goes, I have never heard of that person. And Marcus looks at me, and looks at Larry, and he goes, I'm going to play in the NFL for 20 years. And so Marcus was like, telling the story of my speech. And in my speech, I was like, listen, I'm a kid from Shelton, Connecticut. I ran 6'2" in the 40 my junior year of high school. I was 165 pounds, 21-inch vertical. And Marcus spits out his drink. And he was like, your vertical was 21 inches? I said, yeah. So.
Damn it, you fooled him.
Yeah. Now my kids are 14, and one of them is just like me. And I'm just sitting there, and he looks at me. He's like 5'5", maybe 90 pounds. He's got no muscle on him. He can throw. And he looks, and I'm like, dude, I don't know what to tell you, man. Sorry.
Do you want your kids to play quarterback?
The only one of my kids that I truly in my gut think could play quarterback is my daughter. My daughter's the one who's like the crazy gifted athlete. She's got the right mentality, and she can throw it from here to the baseball park. My boys, one boy can throw, but I don't think he's got the right mentality. But they both play football. But I have no desire for right now for them to be the quarterback.
It's kind of crushing.
Correct.
That I would go and watch my son play baseball. He tried, but I would stand in the outfield.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they think, oh, man, you know, your son must be really good at baseball. He wasn't. and it's you can't help him. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day.
But it's crushing. And you'd be out there, and it'd be last inning, winning run at third. And my son would come to the plate.
Please walk.
Just hit him. Get hit by a pitch. Anything.
Dear God.
Yeah.
Dear God.
Okay. So Dan Orlovsky joining us on loan from the Mothership. when you see Ghost, we just had RG3 on, and he said he never saw Ghost. I don't know if quarterbacks, everybody is going to say they never saw them, but Sam Darnold did admit that he saw Ghost. What does that mean to you? And why would he admit to that?
I think the admission is just his reality. I think he's comfortable in who he is and whatnot. So even back then, I still believe that Sam had a great comfort in his skin. I think seeing ghosts is when you start to chase things that aren't there. You know, you start when you're a quarterback and you get the play call in your helmet. The things that come into your mind, the thoughts that happened are in the hundreds. What's the play? Where's this person aligned? What motion? What shift? What's the down and distance? How much time is on the clock? What's the situation? Who are they defensively? What are they in? Is this a blitz situation? Is that person the blitzer? What's their coverage? So you have this trail of thoughts that start to go into your mind, and you can start to chase things that aren't necessarily there. You have to imagine, Dan, like you spend 6 days getting ready for a game, right? So you're just ingesting this information of game plan, your game plan, their game plan, your tape study, their tape study. And so you have this, it's not one or two things that go into the thoughts. It's this run-on sentence of hundreds of nuggets of information. And then you can see one snap and the defense does one thing. And then you can see a snap or about to be a snap and it looks the same, but then you might think that another thing is going to happen when it doesn't. And so then it's just this rat race, if you imagine the rat on the wheel, it's just this wheel of information that starts going through your head, and you start to chase things that aren't necessarily there. I remember doing the breakdown, honestly, after that morning. It was one of my first times on Get Up. And I still, to this day, am adamant that that wasn't a Sam Darnold thing. I think a lot of quarterbacks would have done that because New England showed the same thing all the time and brought something different. And so a lot of quarterbacks, I think, we're going to struggle with that. Certainly young kids, the first time you're ever experiencing, you're like, I have no idea what's going on. And so I think But
here's Drake May in his second year.
And Drake hasn't really seen stuff like that on a consistent basis. And also you have to remember, Josh McDaniels, 24 postseason games. I think he's been in the NFL for 20 plus years. The way that Josh cuts out the fat on plays for him by, okay, I'll take a running back and motion him out there. Hey, Drake, if there's a linebacker out there, you know it's man. If there's not a linebacker out there, you know it's zone. All right, I've just taken out 50% of the things I have to think about. Motion the running back in. Hey, if the guy comes with them, you know it's probably not a blitz. If the guy doesn't go back with them, you know that it's probably going to be a blitz. Okay, I've, again, cut off all the information that you have to think about where Sam didn't have that experience.
But if you look at offensive minds, if I said you could learn under Josh McDaniels, McVay, Shanahan.
McVay or Shanahan?
Oh, not even close.
I mean, Josh McDaniels is one of the best, no question. But McVay and Shanahan, I think, have I ever told you the golf story? The first day that I was with Sean and Jared? So, one, I've played under Kyle. I was with Kyle in like 2010 and maybe 2009, 2010 in Houston when he was quarterback coach, offensive coordinator. Gary Kubiak was the head coach. And just Kyle and his ability to install and the way that he talked about football. His install meetings, it was like speed dating. I mean, he would take 10 seconds to install play, throw the paper on the ground, install play, throw the paper on the ground, install play, I mean, the way that he like forced you to pay attention with his urgency was different. And just you could see the way that he talked about football from a defensive perspective. He understood it. But Sean McVay in 2017, it's the spring of 2017. I had just gotten done in Detroit. I was in Philly with my wife. We were down in the city with our family. And I had known McVay a little bit just in post games. Sean called me and he said, hey, I got this young kid, Jared Goff. Jared was going into his second season. He's like, I need you to come out here, just be a coach. You'll be our third quarterback. You're not going to take a single snap in the preseason. You'll be our third quarter. I just need you to teach him football. He doesn't have a great understanding of football. So, all right, so I go out there for training camp, and I remember it's the very first meeting. We're sitting in the front row. It's the situation, seat in between me and Jared. It's the first team meeting of training camp. hand to God, 3 minutes into the meeting, I lean over, I tap Jared on the knees, and I said, "You're going to be fine, dude." Like, you could just tell Sean had a great understanding. The way he could communicate, he understood football, his leadership skills, the way that he could control the room with his voice. So just being around those two guys, not only their football perspective, but just their ability to communicate, one of those two guys would be my clear favorite.
Tom Brady, who has had a rapid rise in improving as an analyst, I think he got rid of the clutter. I think he's doing what he did as a quarterback. Get rid of the clutter and just talk football. But he said something about JSN, where he said his shoulder pads never, like, they don't change.
Correct.
So what's that do to a defensive back?
Everything looks the same. It's very Torrey Holt back in the day was the great at this. Marvin Harrison as well, where, you know, when defensive backs study receivers, there's tells. There's always tells in football, no matter if it's a big picture scheme thing or an individual scheme thing. Remember the movie Invincible when he's like, "Hey, white knuckles, the rusher." There's always those tells. There's always those individual tells as players. And so as a receiver, your alignment, are you closer to the offensive tackle or the tight end? Why? Are you moving down because you're trying to create space? Or are you further away because you're trying to go attack the middle of the field? And then there's route tells where, hey, if this guy comes off the line of scrimmage and he's standing up, he's probably going to be stopping on his route sometime soon. If he's got his shoulders down, that he's probably trying to accelerate vertical and maybe going deeper. And so these guys have all these tells. And when JSN has everything look the same, I mean, we're across the street from the baseball park, right? And so when these pitchers, everything looks the same from where's my glove, where's my windup, where's the ball coming out of so now you have such a smaller time frame to figure out what the pitch is. It's like that with JSN. When he comes off the line and everything looks the same from his stride, his tempo, his shoulders, as a defensive back, now you're guessing the 4 or 5 different routes that he could run, 6 different routes he could run, rather than he could only do one of 2 things. And as a great defensive back, then you could take away one of those things. So that's a strength.
Rodney Harrison was kind of auditioning to be on Football Night in America, and he was talking about, because we wanted to know, like, what do you see? What are you looking for? He said, all right, well, look at this play with Tony Gonzalez. He said, you see where he's lined up? And then he said, look at this other play. You see where he's lined up. Now, it looked like the same exact formation. He says he's about 3 inches wider. He's going out for a pass.
Correct.
Just little things. Like,
there's always a tell.
Yeah.
If you put in the time to study it, and that's where we talk about the conversation of watching film versus studying film. And that's why you see a lot of young quarterbacks, it just takes time to develop. Is as a young quarterback, you more often than not, you watch film. They're playing cover 3. Okay, now then as you develop and evolve and be around and repetition, you're studying tape. All right, they're in cover 3, but where's the weakness of the cover 3? Or who is the weakness of the cover 3? Or how do I know that they're not going to be in cover 3 and they're going to go to a cover 2 or a cover 1? That guy's outside shoulder. He's inside shoulder. His inside foot is up rather than his outside foot is up. There's always tells the more you study.
How do the Patriots win?
Great question. I think, number one, they have to be phenomenal on early down on the interior of their offensive line. Everyone talks about Seattle's defense and talks about their defensive front, and they only correlate it to third down. And it's great on third down. But if you don't handle Murphy and Leonard Williams early downs, you can't have success against this defense. And it's not just in the pass game. You have to hit them on some quick hitting runs, early downs, to try to get those two to play slower. I think the second thing is you got to handle the edges of their pass rush on third downs. That's going to be huge. I think Steph's got to have the biggest game of the postseason for him, not even close. If you were going to ask me the one person on their offense in New England that has to have a big game, it's Steph. Nicky Manwari is going to play nickel, who's that interior pass game defender for Seattle. He's phenomenal. He's going to be Defensive Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. He's 6'3", 230 pounds.
Wait, they already gave it to the guy in Cleveland.
That's already been announced?
I thought they did.
I thought it's tomorrow night. NFL Honors, no?
Oh, maybe he's a finalist?
He's a finalist. Schlesinger?
Yeah.
He should be a finalist.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But I believe it's announced tomorrow night.
Oh, okay. All right.
For a second, I was like, oh, God. That's going to go viral.
No. You only go viral when you fawn all over these quarterbacks.
I don't understand. Why do people want everybody to just say quarterbacks suck? This quarterback sucks. It's like, oh, my gosh.
Do you fall in love a little too soon with quarterbacks?
I always think that I go from the mindset of understanding how hard it is to play that position. And there's so many good players that aren't Patrick.
But if you were sending out Valentine's Day cards,
I'd probably give them to 18 to 20. At a minimum.
Okay.
At a minimum.
All right.
I don't know. Like I always say, Dan, I think I've said this, and this is just my reality. I think it would be so dumb and disrespectful and ignorant of me, who was a backup 99% of my career, to just go on probably the biggest, I guess, on a day-to-day basis network and just be like, this quarterback sucks. You wouldn't have any respect. That would be, how could I then go into a Monday Night Football meeting and sit with that quarterback and be like, so what's your game plan? He'd be like, you're an idiot. I don't have any respect for you. So yes, there's a part of me that probably has a little bit of a find the positive perspective, but I do think it comes from a level of just appreciation and respect.
Good to see you.
Great to see you.
Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
Once again, he cheated on his 40-yard dash.
The only time I ever have a big desire to cheat is in competitive moments. So golf course is very dangerous for me.
Wait, you can't cheat?
I always have an internal desire to, but I've learned over the years.
Do you want to admit something?
No. I've learned over, but competitive environments are tough.
He's Dan Orlovsky of the Mothership. You're squirming over there. It feels like maybe you cheated a little bit.
I have many years ago. Many years ago.
You can see him on NFL Live every weekday at 4 Eastern on ESPN. We'll take a break. We'll close up shop after this.